What's up, everyone? And today on the Core Medical Podcast, we have the one and only Brandon Blair. I probably, out of all the guys at the office, him and Mike, we have a blast together. Brandon's a solid cat. He's always there for me in my time of need, except when it comes to training another employee. But that's okay. Just kidding with you.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
He's always there in my time of need. Love him to death. And he's on today with Mel. We had he's done a few other podcasts, but I thought it was important for everyone to kind of see where he's at right now with Core Medical Group due to the fact that he is getting a lot of new patients. And, he's kind of the celebrity at Core Medical. Mel Chansey and Brandon Blair are kind of like the celebrities over there. They have that professional athlete background, and you got Mel over there that is going back into the limelight, not on a motorcycle around a WWE ring this time.
Yeah.
But it's been cool. I've met a bunch of your patients in last year, so thanks a bunch for coming on, B. I love you. You're the best.
Thank you for having me, Sid.
Yeah, B. I'm a big fan of yours. I mean, you came shortly after me, months. Yeah. You were the first one I've seen Sydney hire 6 years ago and some change, I'm going to guess, right?
Yep.
I'm horrible at math, but I know that.
2018 somewhere, I think.
Was it really 2018?
Yeah.
2018. Yeah.
So what was that, the beginning of the year or the middle of the year?
July.
It was July.
Me, I'm like April. Right after Easter, April.
I remember it was April because when I met you that weekend, it wasn't really hot out. And then when I terminated the relationship with the other individual, I remember driving over to Tampa like a month later, and it was hot out.
It was hot out, yeah. So that's right. Yeah. Long time, you guys, long time.
Then were you still in a cast when we met you? Because the first day you and I met, you were still in a cast.
First day I met you, you were in a cast.
A hand cast.
Yes.
That's true. Different story.
Yeah.
But
I was just coming off of a shoulder surgery, I think.
But we met somewhere, and you had like a black cast on, like it was pumped out a little bit.
I think I had a sling on.
Yeah.
It
was a sling. That's right. Yeah. So, B, talk to me. Tell me. Tell us a little bit background in your life. We didn't get to post that last podcast that you had. We took it down. Give us a background of growing up.
Yeah.
Down here in Florida, and then I have a bunch of questions. He's got a bunch of questions for you about Core this year, about the changes you've seen and what patients should be expecting. So, give everyone a high level briefing on Brandon Blair.
Born in 1991, grew up in Coral Springs, Florida. Parents had me in a lot of sports growing up. The older I got, I kind of gravitated towards hockey more and more. Played in the minor leagues for 4 years. Met Sidney Gordon shortly after that. I've been at Core for 6. And since 2018, I've been Core Medical Patient Coordinator.
What kind of changes have you seen since then?
The business has changed drastically since we started.
Not just on our side, but the overall like picture of the business, like other competition, what people are looking for now versus then, right? Because you've been around this shit since the 80s.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I think when we first started, it looked like people were just trying to get the best deal no matter where they could get it. Now it's really becoming, I think, patient care. I think it's a big thing where we're kind of setting ourselves apart, is the patient care is just next level.
I love that, patient care. Yeah, I like that word.
Our NPs, everything.
What does Mel Chansey expect when he calls in on a ad or a PPC SEO, whatever it might be, and what should Mel expect as a new patient at Core? Take him through the process.
New patient at Core Medical Group will either fill something out online where they can get in contact with one of our fronters, who's, these guys are very educated, they know everything.
Onboarding specialist?
Yep, onboarding specialist. Or they'll be coming aboard through a referral, which they'll reach out to us directly from another friend or family member.
How many referrals do you see in a month?
I see about 5 a day these days.
5 referrals a day?
I think 5 a day. Someone is interested. About 5 a day.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah,
the referrals
that's just
are huge.
hits.
Those are from current,
that's what I'm saying.
From current patients
I'm saying
that
I
probably
agree.
did not fill out the questionnaire out online.
Yeah.
5 referrals a day.
5 a day.
And you have about 1,000 patients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a little bit more, but
yeah. Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
Crazy, B.
So if you think about it, that's almost if 4 or 5 whatever, it's about 250.
Yeah.
300 patients just on referrals.
Yeah,
a year.
It's amazing how the company has grown.
25 times, no, way more. Yeah, about that. Yeah.
But the changes have been huge. You said a good thing. Patient care. That's amazing, because that is what we do over here, and that is what we pride ourselves on, right? And that's how it goes. You've seen the changes, right? I mean, back 6 years ago, it was, guys were having to do everything, the patient coordinator, intake, everything. You've seen the different, as we were growing, and especially in the last 2 years. He works in this department. I go, when did you start that department? It's been growing like that. So,
well, now that we're fully licensed and above board in 43 states, back the first 4 years I had this thing, 5 years I had this thing open, we'd have a physician and an NP or a PA do the protocol for the patient, and they would just approve them for testosterone. Once you're approved for the only controlled substance that we provided, and then there'd be like a box they would check that patient can have peptides. Obviously, the doctor would check to make sure that their IGF-1 wasn't super elevated, or there was a concern with PSA before we give them peptides.
Yeah.
But if those two things were checked, I'll be vulnerable. The patient coordinator could sell them whatever they wanted to sell them.
Yeah.
And now it's not like that at all.
No.
Now it's like you have to buy only what we have on the protocol platform for you, and that's changed quite a bit.
You have to qualify for everything.
For everything.
Yeah. It's very strict, and hence why I tell these dudes that come up to me what it's about. I don't want to waste their time, and I'm not wasting my time with them,
Exactly.
right? And when they tell me that they want to come up, I got a company and they're giving me 2 cc's of testosterone a week. And I go, you feel good? And they go, yeah. I go, that's cool. Stay there, man. Good seeing you. You know what I mean? Like, so we're big changes.
What do you see in the industry right now? What are some of the things that really stand out to you it's like a new patient? Forget about core medical. What should a new patient be looking for? Obviously, patient care. What should a new patient, because we're doing blood work March, we're going to be doing a huge special for new patients. If now being an expert in the industry, what would you say if you were going to tell your father or your father-in-law to go find an HRT clinic and you couldn't service them? What type of things would you tell them to be careful of?
I would think first and foremost the blood panel. If they're just doing a standard CBC and maybe just looking at your testosterone, I think more needs to be looked at than just that. So the blood panel first. Obviously, at the end of the day, when a cash pay business, there's going to be people out there just that only care about sales. So,
Pricing.
Price points, add-ons, there's even stuff that you can easily get over the counter that some people are trying to make a killing on,
Yeah.
So those are things to look out for.
How about like things that you hear going on in the industry that are a big no-no that a consumer might not know about, like walking to the clinic and getting anabolics from the clinic directly?
Yeah, that's one thing to look out for. Obviously, I think that's a huge red flag. And I think even from when I started 6 years ago, the companies that were blatantly doing that now are no longer around.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a big difference, running that gray line, doing the right and wrong thing.
When I first started in this business, they would, there's a documentary coming out on them right now, actually. They own pain clinics as well. The George brothers. I knew them both pretty well. They own Palm Beach Rejuvenation.
Yeah.
They're in a bunch of pill mills. There's a huge. Was it good?
It was great.
Was it about hormones too?
Mostly pills, but they did the HRT stuff, but they're also pushing pills out of the HRT.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Oh, they AKA pill mills?
Dude, they got hit, and Core went from when they owned the market, right? They would do advertising in bodybuilding advertisements. Well, they weren't going to put Percocets on for sale, but what does every bodybuilder have? Injury.
Mm-hmm.
So they come in for their testosterone, or there was no blood work. It was the Wild West.
Right.
But Mel Chancey would come in and want some perks, and hey, here you go. Boom, boom, boom.
Wow.
They had pill mills everywhere, and they had a huge database, thousands of patients, making millions and millions of dollars.
For years, huh? Sounds like.
For years, for about 10 years. Got greedy. And it was one of the reasons why we took off. I finagled it a little bit and ended up, going from legit having maybe 180 patients one month to like 600 the next.
Yeah.
And when it's you and 2 other dudes in an office,
yeah,
a doctor that that's a big difference.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, it was it was the game changer for me. And then I had that coming in. I could really focus on like the next steps of Core Medical Group. And, you know, it was crazy back then. It was 15 years ago. Think about what were you doing 15 years ago? You were in high school.
Freshman year.
Yeah. What were you doing?
I was just coming home from the Fed Pen, 2008, basically, 9.
I like think about those times then now compared to now, like crazy how much technology's changed. And, you know, this industry is now like a real, like just like Pete said, the biggest thing is patient care. Think about like where we were with patient care compared to where we are now. Fucking Salesforce, 250 grand deep on Salesforce. There's no more paper charts rolling around.
I remember when we were getting Salesforce. Hey, I got a funny story about. So I remember when it was about a year ago, the new offices and everything, and the hire-ons, and you know, now we're seeing people like, hey, who's that? Oh, he works for that department, right? And all of a sudden we get the HR letter, me and you, like, hey, you got an HR brochure. I look at B, I go, I don't even know what HR means. What's that mean? He goes, we're going corporate. I go, oh, we're definitely going to get canned when they see our episodes.
It's growing. It's growing. There's an HR department now.
I mean, that's my business partner's fault. I didn't do that.
You gave like us an HR, you know, like the HR department. They're checking finding us every time we're out.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting. Like everyone's an HR nightmare that works at Core Medical, but that's why we all get along so well.
Absolutely.
But no, man, it's been awesome. So B, this is an important thing that I really need you to kind of dive into. When someone comes aboard and they get their blood work done, I want you to give two different perspectives. You see people that are on TRT, you see people that are on TRT from different clinics. You see people that are virgins to TRT. They found us, they picked us, they decided to move forward. And then you see people that are on anabolic steroids coming through the door at Core Medical, right?
Yes.
We support them all the same. Talk to me about what to expect from each one of those categories and what you need to do in order to come aboard if you're in one of those categories.
Absolutely. Which, you want me to start with the fun one first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So if you're on the anabolic steroids, you have to...
You are welcome at Core Medical Group.
Absolutely. You can come aboard. You know, we're going to definitely need to see a low reading of before you were taking anything, or you're going to have to be at least 2-3 weeks off of whatever you are taking so we can see a baseline read of where your real numbers are.
And that comes down to if you have someone that's hitting 600 milligrams of Sustanon with equipoise and tren, you know, that's a month of, hey, get your shit together, clean it out, because you're going to not be qualified.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we got the guy that's
I don't know how I know the names of all those steroids.
Then you got the guy that's never touched anything before, doesn't even know what testosterone cypionate is. You know, those guys usually fall somewhere between 200 to 500 on their T levels. That's in their mid 40s, and there's a good chance that they either are a candidate or are going to do some sort of startup protocol with us.
What's the startup protocol look like? If let's just say you're 28, you come aboard, your test is like 450, right? You're 28. If you're 40 or under, your test is 450. We're going to try a natural stimulation on you. Call in. We'll explain how that works. If that doesn't work, then we do some more testing, go in a different direction. 2 out of every 10 don't qualify for testosterone right now just because of the volume of business that we have coming through the door. Before it wasn't that high. But explain what that looks like if you come through the door and you're 32 years old, you have a 490 test score, your free is 16. What do we do?
And let me tell you real quick, the range is up to 950, you guys. The range right now, I believe, is 295 to 950 on our lab work, on the blood work. So 950 being the highest of testosterone.
Total
testosterone.
testosterone.
The total testosterone that
which
you
is
like
what
to
everyone's
see.
driven to look at. And there's an interesting conversation to be had on that at some time, because free testosterone is really your bioavailable testosterone. And most places don't even check for that, or sex hormone binding globulin, which is the culprit of why the conversion doesn't happen. But go on, B.
So we would kind of put you on something called a conservative protocol. This is going to include 0 exogenous testosterone. It's going to be anything from HCG to clomiphene to N-clomiphene, depending on you guys are trying to actively have a child soon, if you guys are just trying to boost your T up a little bit more, or it's one of those things where you don't want to stick testosterone in your body because you hate needles. Those are the options for you. You know, the HCG is kind of the gold standard. It's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit pricier because only the brand name stuff is available right now. And then we have N-clomiphene, which is very common. And then the clomiphene is kind of more of a fertility medication that'll boost your T up as well. And you most of the time, depending on who you are, it's probably going to come with a low dose of anastrozole as well.
Yep, because you still get that conversion, and estrogen dominance is a bad thing. Mel talks about it all the time.
Anti-estrogen pill, anastrozole, a.k.a. Arimidex, but some people know it that, but the trade name is anastrozole.
The younger guys kind of put it on a little bit easier than the older guys.
Finish up with a guy that comes from another clinic. That my first question is what kind of testosterone are they providing you at that other clinic? You have a picture of it. Is the bottle clear? Is the bottle dark?
Yep.
What milligram is it? How much are you taking? Like I qualify because, you know, I've had people say a name of a clinic, and I'm like, dude, you're in good hands, bro. Like, you know, unless you feel like they're bending over a barrel,
right?
Stay there. They're great.
Yeah, you know the pharmacy, and you know.
I know the pharmacy, right? Yeah. But other situations of, you know, there's from where we stand right now. How many HRT clinics do you think are within a mile of us right here?
There's got to be within a mile.
Yeah, probably.
I would say 20 to 50
20 to
within
50,
a
right?
mile.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's 5 in this complex.
I mean, I got a douchebag right next door to me who put a sign up in the adjacent window that does cryo. That's trying to figure it out.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So that's gonna be a reel right there, boys and girls.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking blast that and tag them. Anyways, it doesn't really bother me.
Just one CC a week.
Just one CC a week, guys. Anyways, so the guy comes aboard and he's from a different clinic. You know, we'll look at that blood work that they've had if it's extensive enough, which is 90% of the time it's not. Or would you say 70, 80?
95% of the time it's not enough blood coming from, unless they're coming from like there's a couple clinics in town that really do
a great job
above and beyond on the blood panel, and then there's, you know, the couple that are bare bones minimum.
So if you're watching this, you can come to court, get your blood work done anywhere between $249 and $399, and you can take that blood work and go somewhere else for it, and probably get the blood work done cheaper with us than you did somewhere else and have more extensive blood. Now they might not know what to do with all that blood, but we have no problem with that. We just want you to get your blood work done. For the women out there, CR125, very, very important. If that's not on your blood work and you're taking hormones, if you have not checked your CR levels and you're a female and you're taking any type of hormone, CA125, what did I say, CR? CR, yeah. CA125, sorry. That is an ovary scanning for ovarian cancer, CA125. And it's very important that you guys are getting that done. Now, why do you think it is that... So you have all 3 of those categories. We support all 3 of those categories. Really, 2 of them just one needs to come off their testosterone. Typically the hardest category to deal with because they don't want to do that. Yeah, God forbid they look depleted a little bit for a couple weeks. But the long-term fact is they're probably going to live a lot longer and feel a lot better. Mel, why don't you talk about that?
I'll tell you what we're seeing, running the bodybuilding federation and industry and seeing everybody out there playing Russian roulette with what you're getting. Everything's coming out of China, depending on what the materials are, 97%, 50%. I've had guys telling me they're taking 1,000 milligrams of testosterone a week, right? And I could see that they're not, and I could tell that they're not feeling. So I went ahead and took a gamble and said, okay, I'm going to get your blood work done, knowing that they weren't going to come back. And they came back up into 400 or 500s, what they would naturally be. Nothing. You're taking nothing in all that, right? So,
or it's a precursor, like something that suppresses your testosterone, when you feel like a rock star.
Yeah, something. So I mean, they're taking stuff that they're taking chances with what's on the street. You know, who's doing their blood work when they're all banging like that? No one's doing their blood work because they come to us and they come back at 3,000 in their blood levels, and we tell them, hey, we can't help you, man. So that's I try to school them and give everybody a thing. Do it the right way, right? I mean, if you're training and you're bodybuilding, you're getting ready for shows, them guys got to do some extra things, right? They just can't. This ain't the home for them.
Yeah, but the crazy part is if their competitors getting stuff from Russia, UK, or wherever else, and they're getting stuff from China,
Right.
they're going to see a big difference.
Big difference.
In that. Yeah, big
you,
difference in that.
Yeah, you can tell. It dropped off. I mean, there were back in the 90s, early 2000s, the late 80s, there was a more crispier to these guys, more drier. They were more shredded and peeled and stuff like that. I think a lot of that has to do with the gear
bloatedness, yeah.
too. Yeah.
So, B, what do you know off the top of your head what the range is for free testosterone at LabCorp?
I think it's like 7 to 25 or something.
7 to 25?
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Okay. So I want to throw something at you guys right now, and I was looking into it the other day. So free testosterone is 7 to 25. Estrogen is what? 10 to 40?
44.
10 to 42, I think.
10 to 42.
42, 44, yeah.
Sexual hormone binding globulin.
Below 55.
Yeah, I feel like 18 to 55, right?
Yeah.
And you want to be right in the middle of that range.
Yep.
Okay. What are the hormones? IGF-1?
IGF-1.
0 to 299?
Mid twos.
0 to 299. Why the fuck is testosterone 250 to 950?
What a gap, huh?
You guys ever sit down and think about that?
All the time.
Huge gap.
Why? It's the biggest gap on our blood panel.
Absolutely.
By like tenfold.
Absolutely. Because a guy that's 297, his normal doctor,
Yep.
a guy that's 296, his normal doctor is going to say, you're in the range, Bubba.
Why?
And they don't want to see estradiol, they want to see FSH and LH, and they don't want to see
I'd be interested to find out if that's a
Like
ripple
hormone.
effect from like these pharmaceutical companies that want people just not to be on testosterone.
I'm going to take it back to my age. I'm going to show my age. That level used to be 1,200 at one time, and the bottom level was in the 4s.
Yep.
And then everything went down.
When I started, it was 399 and 1100.
See?
Wow.
Big pharma, what did the cholesterols do? All the cholesterol came down, down, down. They want you under 200. Our grandparents were 400 and under, 300 our parents, 200 in us. Everybody got to get on a statin. But the testosterone, they don't want them on it. Let's be real.
There's a reason for that, you know? There's a few reasons for it. I mean, ask yourself right now, do you guys know what your body really is? It's a muscle.
Yeah.
Organs,
Yeah.
everything is a muscle.
Tissue, right.
I mean, look, if you didn't have that muscle, your shoulder would be in a totally different place right now,
No, for sure.
right? You'd probably be under
With the
knife.
tears. Yeah, he told me for sure. I'd never be able to just even move around
Right.
like
So
this.
the more that we are depleted, the more that we have loss of muscle, the more that we have atrophy, the weaker we are, and the more that we need support for pain medication and other things like of that.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, I keep going back to that, but it's a real fucking thing, dude. It really is a real thing.
What we talked about earlier today, the hormones in the food. You didn't see if a 24-year-old, not kidding, let me say, a 24-year-old young adult, back in my
Jordan's
day.
a kid, he's 24.
Yeah. Back in my day, went to the doctor and his testosterone level was anywhere under 600. They were checking his pituitary gland because that's where immediately, I have friends that had that happen. There was no issues with the foods. Now it's the hormones. Now we're seeing these guys mangled.
What do you see him be there when Tess comes back? In 6 years, what have you seen?
I'm seeing more and more guys with their testosterone at like 900 or something. Their free testosterone is at like 7 or 8, and their SHBG is through the roof. And I feel like a lot of the common factors there is these Chinese herbs that people are taking that think they're going to boost their testosterone naturally, that do, but they're doing it the wrong way, and you're not getting the full benefits. Like this terkesterone and Tangat Ali and all these things that are big and kind of fads that might not be working the same as taking, an old school test booster or testosterone.
Well, those test boosters are scary.
Yeah, you just don't know what you're getting.
You have no idea what you're getting. They're not tested, so on and so forth. But we just had to pause here. We had one of our new recruits, Jared, that Mel was talking about this afternoon in the earlier podcast. Pop in, Jared, over here, coming over from Northport with Mel. Thanks for hopping in, buddy. We were just finishing up talking about how great Brandon was.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, man, you really got a good one today. Jeez.
And he's been getting after it. So Mel, Jared's this is great because Jared has been seeing a lot of blood works. He came on as an onboarding specialist, started that. He's kind of hybriding back and forth now. Here's the thing: what are you seeing right now as far as like when if you were to take a percentage of people that come back aboard, ages 25 to 55, 60 years old that you sign up? What would you say you're seeing in their blood works now? Like, is it alarming? Is it normal? Are there some people that like are completely floored out, but it's, you know, what are you seeing?
Like people that are coming from us like as new patients coming on board. I mean, guys my age, low testosterone, you know, some other stuff's kind of out of whack, you know, free and total is kind of low. You know, getting back on a protocol or getting on a protocol is really, you know, getting that blood work done and seeing what's going on is really paramount. But yeah, just overall low testosterone. I deal with a lot of veterans primarily. You know, you're talking about guys that got like TBIs and things like that, you know, neuroendocrine functions disrupted. So, you know, getting the blood work done, seeing where they're at, and then getting them on a protocol to correct it.
Yeah. What would you say the ratio of patients are, a veteran versus civilian now, Core?
I think the majority are
It was
veterans.
it was getting there to a point where it was just like it was like 80-20, right?
Was it at one time?
Last year, towards the end of the year, I think 80% of we were signing about 500 patients a month. I think 350 were veterans.
Really? Huh?
Sounds about right.
Still?
Yeah, I think it's right there. Yeah, still.
I know we get. I mean, you know, we get a lot of veterans. I mean,
Oh yeah,
yeah, a lot.
I mean, that was a play.
No, yeah.
First responders, that's
yeah.
pretty much
Yeah.
say active duty service member guys.
Yeah.
So why do you think it is that? Why do you think that blood work is that way? That it is with that range of just like 900 points
Right.
versus like everything else with like 100 points.
I always say, man, I'm like, it's like the cable people. Hey, we're going to be at your house today from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. You sit around, wait, right? Like that's that gap, right? So it has to be because there's no money in hormone replacement, right? I mean, as far as the pharmacies and stuff, it ain't like statins. Let's be real.
Oh yeah, and the other side of it too is that like the residual from a statin medication, the volume that they're taking for as long as they're taking it for outweighs anything else.
Anything.
I'd rather make a penny 10 times a day for 25 years
Yes.
than, you know, 3 pennies a day,
Yeah,
you know,
for sure. So
it's a mathematical financial equation that they've come up with and figured out and probably.
absolutely big pharma, and that's what they do, and that's what these doctors do. Everybody that I talk to that comes in and says, we tried this with our doctor and I am 350 and my doctor told me, you are good. You're 40 years old. That's you're in a great spot right that. Don't bring it up again. And then they think that the doctor's the end all be all. People forget that. The doctor works for you. You picked him.
Your testosterone's good. You're good to go. They don't even tell you what the results are. They're like, oh, you're in normal range. Next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're in your 20-minute slot, and then they're kicking another one in the door.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it's kind of wild that so if you're 100% disabled, or what is it?
Total and permanent. Yeah.
Yeah, total and permanent. The medication can't get taken from you. But I did clarify this weekend. I took 4 veterans out on a hunt in Okeechobee on Friday night. One of them runs a very big foundation, and he's total and permanent. So no matter what happens, he gets his VA benefits because he's total and permanent. But let's say Brandon Blair is a vet, comes aboard and is 60% disabled, and then decides to go on testosterone and come off the other 9 medications. Guess what? Gone. All that money that he goes to, if he doesn't fill that prescription, gone. So it's a two-sided part here.
Oh, yeah.
You have someone who's 20, 30, 50, 70, 80% disabled. Their disability can get taken away if they're not filling their fucking prescriptions in some situations. But someone's total and permanent does not have to worry about that. So, and there's way more people on the 50, 60, 70, 80 than
They don't even know. They don't even know they're eligible for more because they think that's the end all be all. Because it's like buying a car with them.
they make it very difficult.
Very
People
difficult.
are making livings on selling their prescriptions.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we see it, and then how about this? The veteran that goes in and gets oxycodone, Valium, Xanax, and then decides, hey, I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to be a fucking slave to this bullshit. Goes to treatment, but then now has to go hang out in a barbershop every freaking Friday when everyone's getting a haircut when he doesn't want one because he's got to fill those prescriptions every single month. He's got to go in there and get those prescriptions that he was addicted to. Mm-hmm. How long is it going to last before he fucks up again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point.
Brutal.
It's brutal.
So, anyways, just want everyone to see Jared. He kind of popped in here. Brandon, anything that you want to close up with? Anything you want to tell patients about? Talk about how amazing I am or anything like that? No? Okay.
Our core medical weekend,
I just
two
think,
and a half
I think
weeks.
the moral of the story is just get the blood work done. Whether you go to us or someone else, just check it out, and you might discover a whole bunch of things you didn't know about yourself. You know, physically.
physically.
Speaking about our core medical military weekend, which we addressed earlier on a different podcast, in the veteran stuff, I want to clear something up. You do not have to be a veteran
Exactly.
to attend our core medical military appreciation weekend, which is February 23rd to 25th.
Which is full this year.
Yeah, which is full. Yeah. Are they going to see this before that?
Yeah, they're gonna see it's completely full.
Okay,
we're
full, yeah.
overbooked right now, so it's done.
Yeah,
but next year, we are gonna be opening up dramatically next year. We're gonna go from like 250, 260 to like almost like 800 people. I'm gonna have the venue somewhere else next year. Which when we go up, when you guys get there on Thursday, you're gonna see the other venue. It's gonna be awesome.
Nice. Okay. It's
So,
exciting. That's a great
exciting.
weekend.
But yeah, man. Well, listen, B, I love you. I'm fucking proud of you.
B.
You've done an amazing job. The patients seem to like you more than me, which is kind of difficult at times.
Thanks for having me, Sid.
B, you're
No
always
problem,
doing
bro.
the good thing, B.
Thank you.
And Jared's crushing it. Came aboard. Appreciate him very much. Come over here. He likes to come over here and hang out with the boys.
I do.
We got a
Even though
nickname for him over on the other coast. Boca Raton Jared.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jared goes over there and he walks around. He's like, who is it? Chucky. My
Yeah,
boy
Chuck.
Chucky.
Yeah, Pittsburgh Chucky.
Chucky will go out in Pittsburgh, and he did something the other day that was really, really funny because Chucky knows Boca and he knows like Pittsburgh, and like he'll be out and she's like the best, right?
Yeah,
I love
Chuck's a
Chucky.
great kid.
And there'll be like some girl who's like all up in her shit in Pittsburgh, thinking they're gorgeous, and Chucky will be like, you know what, you should probably start being a little bit nicer. You're like a Boca Raton too. So you kind of get it, right? You know, but-
True over here, true.
True. But all right, guys. Hey, listen, guys. I'm super grateful for both of you guys. Mel Chansey, thank you so much
Love
for a
ya.
long day of filming today.
Yeah, love you.
And we will see you guys soon. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Sid.